Greetings and salutations, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Her 5, our first episode of the Her 5 podcast. Today, we have great information for everyone. We're going to be talking about gut health. So we have just two of the members of the Her 5, me, nurse practitioner, internal medicine, and Marissa Johnson. She's a national board certified health and wellness coach. Today, we have a special guest, Dr. Lee, the owner of Lee Wellness Natural and Holistic Health. She's going to be going into depth about gut health. She will be highlighting things that we need to know about the gut, what is the gut, signs of an unhealthy gut, and she's going to be highlighting the 4R protocol to get your gut back into balance. As always, remember we are healthcare professionals. However, we're not your personal healthcare professional. So if you're having issues, please reach out to your primary care provider. So we're going to turn it over to Dr. Lee today, and she's going to highlight those things I just previously spoke about, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Lee.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you, Ashley and Marissa, for this platform. I think this is amazing, and I know this is going to help a lot of people. So, tonight we're talking about the gut. And I want to start off by saying a little bit about what I do and who I am. So, I am Dr. Anita Lee. I reside in Oxford, Alabama with my lovely husband, and I have three beautiful kids, Anaya, Cass, and Kaisha. So we are here doing this thing called life. I have a background of physical therapy. And I also am a holistic wellness coach, a natural holistic wellness coach. And one of my main missions is to really empower families to take charge of their health through natural and holistic care. And we do that through wellness coaching, through education, and through advanced biometric insights. So I didn't start out this way, I guess, like being all natural and holistic. So I really want to speak to anybody who's watching this. There's no shame and there's no shade thrown at you if you are um, going a conventional route with your health and you are taking medication. This is not what this is about. This is really to let you know that there's options. Okay. But just to tell you a little bit about my journey, like I said, in the thick of motherhood, you're just trying to really do what's best for your child. But as we research and look at different things, I started finding out that there's a lot of things that we can do at home to support our kids and ourselves, especially when it comes to the gut. So, what is the gut? We hear that word thrown around. Let's kind of break it down and simplify it. So, the gut represents the largest interface between the external environment and the internal workings of the body system. So, 60 tons, this is a statistic that was interesting. 60 tons of food will pass through our GI tract in our entire lifetime. It's a lot of food. The human microbiome, or you also can hear it as flora, this is the collection of microbes that are found in our gut. So that's bacteria, that's fungi, that's viruses, that's parasites, that's protozoa. All of that lives in the human body. And it's estimated that there are 200 times more microbe genes in the human body than our human genes put together. So, simply put, the microbiome is responsible for supporting human life. It's vital, it matters. So, what does it do? Well, it helps digest food, so break down food stuff that we swallow. It helps metabolize vitamins, minerals. 80% of our immune system is there in our gut. Okay. So that's protecting us from anything in our bodies from disease or unhealthy microbes. Okay. So the term gut is also referring to everything that's dealing with digestion. So a lot of times you just think, oh, that's my stomach. No, it's everything. So that's your mouth because you chew up food, saliva starts happening, you got enzymes breaking down the food, it goes to the esophagus, followed by the stomach. You've got small intestine, large intestine, you also got pancreas, you've got liver. throwing in enzymes. You've got gallbladder, right? And colon, and then your rectum. Um, let's see what else. Another cool fact about the bacteria that live in our gut is that 3 to 4.5 pounds of bacteria are in your gut alone. So it's a highly organized, like God knew what he was doing when he was making us. And there's significance there, but it's very organized, it's very intricate. And when you look at a lot of the processes in our body, it has to do with those little microbes. Okay. So I want to kind of go through just a couple of things to look for. If you're out there and you're like, okay, well, how do I know if my gut is healthy? Is it just when my stomach hurts, or if I'm just always having diarrhea? Yes, those are signs, but here are some other signs to look for if your gut health is poor. Okay. And ladies, y'all can jump in anytime y'all want. Number one is a frequent upset stomach. Like you're always saying, oh, my stomach hurt. After I eat A, B, and C, my stomach hurt. Heartburn, bloating, constipation. Age is not a go sign for those things. Just because you're getting older, we got to stop that. Well, I'm getting older, so that means I'm gonna be hurting. The devil is a liar. No, we need to pay attention to what's going on with our bodies. Okay. If you have a lot of gas all the time and you're bloated all the time, there's an issue. And that may be a sign that your body's having a hard time processing food, and eliminating waste. All right. Also, fatigue. If you're always tired, feeling tired often, over 50% of people with cystic fibrosis and different of a lot of those chronic diseases, they also have IBS, and they also have things going on with motility. We see it time and time again in healthcare. All right. If you have an issue with sleeping, like generalized sleeping, check out what your gut is doing. Okay, food intolerances. If you have an issue with now, as a human being, we all of us have a certain intolerance to dairy. Okay, because we are not cows, we are humans, right? But if you have an intolerance to a lot of things, it could be a sign of poor gut health. Also skin irritations. All right, eczema, psoriasis, acne, random rashes that pop up in your body. Guys, it is a sign of poor gut health. Especially our teenagers, our young people who are going through acne and they're like, oh, it's your hormones. Yes, but if you continue to eat all those processed foods and you're not taking care of your gut, it's going to manifest on your face and on your skin. All right. Something else to look at is migraines. If you are just really trying to figure out, gosh, I'm always getting migraines, and I don't know the cause of it. A lot of times, studies suggest that frequent headaches are more likely to be associated with GI disorders as well. Okay. Autoimmune. If you have any type of autoimmune, so I'm talking about rheumatoid arthritis, um, I'm talking about MS, all those things, type 1 diabetes, things going on with your thyroid. All of those could be triggered from a leaky gut. Um, so a leaky gut, let me just kind of stop right there. So if you ever heard of a leaky gut syndrome, that term right there, it will explain a lot of the autoimmune diseases. So we have these tight junctions in our gut, especially in our small and large intestines. They're very, very tight. So what happens is after we eat something and you have all your hydrochloric acid and all the things going, and it starts to process like it's supposed to, if you continue to eat foods that are highly processed, fast foods, um, also some medications, that tight junction starts to sort of separate. And so the food that you eat and digest will start to leak out into your bloodstream. So when that happens, your body is like, what is this? This belongs in my stomach, not in my bloodstream. And so it starts affecting how we think. It starts affecting our mood. It'll start affecting our joints. Hello, RA. That's where rheumatoid arthritis comes from. So a lot of this stems from the gut. Yep. Um, so some things to think about or to consider when we are looking at, all right, how do we fix this issue or how do we fix this problem to balance the gut? First of all, everyone is different. What may work for you may not work for me. But there's some general things that we need to look at. So number one is I call this the 4R protocol. I take all of my clients through this. It's to remove. The first R is remove. We want to remove all the toxic things that are hindering our gut from doing what it's supposed to do. So that may be talking to your doctors about some medications that you've been taking, because medications can really, really impede what is going on in the gut. It can slow it down depending on what it is. It can, if you're taking a whole bunch of NSAIDs, you're constipated, right? You're locked up. So, and then you have to take Miralax and you add on more stuff. So, having those conversations is important. Also, making sure that you are filtering your water, and getting out things like chlorine and fluoride, which actually kill the good microbiome, the good bacteria. So investing in a good, high quality filter. Also, what are we putting on our skin and what are we letting go of in our house? What are we cleaning with? Because all those toxic items end up in the gut because anything you put on your skin, your body will absorb. Your blood, it will go to your bloodstream and therefore it will go over in your entire body. And it's killing those precious little bacteria that we need. So remove, right? What else can we remove? The processed foods. Ultra processed foods. Those are foods that are made in a factory that were not grown on God's green earth, but that were kind of put together to create something. And so I always say, keep it really simple. Look at your ingredients when you're looking at packaging, and just make sure that everything is a whole food that goes into that package. Okay. Um, let's see. Also seed oils. We're removing canola, sunflower oils. All those things are highly inflammatory and they are not supporting your gut at all. Um, Sugar. So bleached white sugar, excuse me, cane sugar is a toxin to our bodies. And there's multiple studies out there. Y'all go to PubMed to look up studies, or you can go to Google Scholar. But anytime that we eat sugar, there's a study out there. It says the moment that you eat, I think it's 1 tablespoon of sugar, it will affect your body for the next 3 hours as far as your immune system. It makes it go to sleep. It makes your immune system go night night. That's what I tell my kids when they want something sweet. They're like, and I'm like, your immune system's going night night. And we need all your immune system to be kicking in high gear, right? But yeah, removing sugar. Um, and then after you remove all those bad things, we're going to replace it with the great stuff. We're going to replace it with those green veggies, that fruit, good meat that's grown, and try to allow it to be, pasture raised, good beef, fish, all the good things, with good proteins, but also eating some gut healing foods and supplementation is also really important. And I get this question a lot from my clients. They're like, well, how long will it take for me to, see results and to see a shift? I'm like, well, how long you been eating horrible stuff? They're like 25 years. Okay, well, it may take a minute. It's gonna take a few.
A hot
It's
minute.
it's gonna take a hot minute. Give yourself up to 9 months. 9 months of being consistent. God made our bodies to heal itself. And if we give it the right tools, it will, but it's going to take time. It's gonna take work. All right. It depends on your health. But if you could eat more anti-inflammatory foods, those good omega-3 fatty acids, which are found in salmon and Like I said, grass-fed beef, lamb, wild caught fish. Um, what's the other thing that's called? I lost my train of thought. Not stock, but bone broth. Okay, thank you, Lord. Yeah, bone broth is so healing for the gut. It's very easy to make, and you can look up a recipe, but um, getting some good bone broth in there, that's something that you can do for your kids too, and make some good soup. So you do that too, Ashley, that
So
bone
I
broth?
was just introduced to bone broth. Um, my husband, he loves to eat healthy, so he introduced me to bone broth. I was like, bone broth? What is that? And I went to the store, and lo and behold, there was bone broth. I was like, I've never seen this before. Because when you're not looking for it, you don't really pay attention.
Yeah.
But then when you're looking, I was like, oh, okay. And it's really high in protein and it gets you full faster. And so that little meal that he made that I made with bone broth, he didn't need a lot of it because it was filling. It was high in protein and it was good. So that's where I
Yeah.
got introduced to that.
Absolutely. And it has that good collagen in there, which is very healing to the gut. And so, anytime you are trying to support and reestablish that good bacteria in there, I always recommend bone broth and collagen for that. Um, also, so the next R is reinoculate. So that's a big word for putting in the good bacteria, especially if you have had a history of antibiotics, because antibiotics wipe out, even though they're needed sometimes. I'm not totally 100% against antibiotics. I do think that they're overly prescribed. However, if you do have to get antibiotics, make sure you are re-inoculating your gut, getting good pre and probiotics. Okay. So probiotics promote the growth of healthy bacteria in the gut, and they can help jumpstart your gut flora. So you can also eat fermented foods that have that naturally grown good flora. So kombucha, which I love, we drink a lot. Kimchi, kefir, sauerkraut, all those things. And they're easy to make too. It's easy to ferment vegetables in a saltwater bath, and eating good sourdough bread is also has some good lactobacillus in it as well. Um, I love Life 9. That is one of the probiotics that I recommend. It's by Young Living. And I like it because it's designed to bypass the stomach and deliver the probiotic to the lower levels of the digestive tract. So if you're getting if you're getting crap supplements, they're not going to make it to the small intestine. So make sure that you are getting a high quality supplement. I know there's a lot to look at Walmart and the things, but get with someone who's really, educated in that so that you can get what you need and it can make it to the gut. Yeah.
Remind us, what was the name of that? Life 9?
Life 9.
Okay.
Yep. And I do have that in my wellness store as well if anybody's interested in the supplements that I'm talking about today. Um, what else? And kids too. Kids, there's a supplement called Mighty Pro, and it tastes like a pixie stick. And I eat it too sometimes. I'll kind of alternate from the Life 9 from the Mighty Pro. But it's really good. It helps with constipation and all the discomfort and all that too. All right, and then the last R is repair and we're gonna throw in S, support. Okay, so repair, you're gonna heal the lining of the gut, and we already kind of hit on that earlier. So drinking bone broth, which has collagen, amino acids, that can help to heal the damaged wall. Because remember, if you've been struggling with leaky gut and all these other things, your wall is kind of it's like this, but we want those junctions to be tighter. So that collagen is going to help pull it together and rapidly heal that leaky gut. Also, I'm a huge fan of supplementation because, and you have some practitioners who are like, well, you don't need supplements, you just need to eat good. Well, our soil is not like granny's soil. It's pretty bad. It's depleted. of nutrients. And they pull our food really quick off the vine or off the tree just so they can get it in the market. So we're not even getting some of the nutrients and vitamins. So I think a great high quality supplement is needed. Some top supplements to support the gut. Let's talk about that. Enzymes. Enzymes help to break down foods that we eat, and every body system needs enzymes, not just our digestive, but our cardiovascular system, our musculoskeletal, every single system in our body. Um, and as we age, our enzymes that we naturally have are depleted. They start going down. So supplementing enzymes is important. Um, there's a couple of enzymes that I like. One in particular is called Essential Zyme. That's one of my favorites. And that's something that you can take after every meal. And especially if you're like been traveling a lot and okay, you go out to eat, right? When you travel, you just have no idea how they cook their food in the back. So, always taking an enzyme after I eat something like that helps that food to digest. Also getting good fiber, right? So that it can actually scrub that colon, get all that mucoid plaque that's been built up from the processed foods and the toxins and all the things. So you've got to get a good fibrous diet. Drinking lots of water, of course, with good Celtic salt in there. And also using essential oils is great, like supportive essential oils like peppermint. Essential oils are, I want to say, the God's gift to the world. They are amazing. Um, Plant juice, but they really help to heal the gut and to maintain gut health. And just a quick testimony for me, when I was growing up, I struggled with seasonal allergies, to the point where I had to wear a mask in order to go outside. And this was for years and years and years. Like I can remember just calling my mom from school, like, come pick me up. I can't see, eyes itching, throat itching. What else? I would get rashes. It was bad. And what do we have to take? Benadryl, right? So just years and years of that. But I started learning about my body and how it actually works and how 80% of our immune system is in our gut. And so if we are supporting our gut, therefore supporting our immune system, our interaction with our environment is not going to be so drastic. Okay, and we won't have all these histamine attacks and things. So that's what happened. The Lord healed my gut because I started to give it what it needed. And so I am here to say I have not had any meds for I think it's been 6 years now. I have no meds, but essential oils played a huge role in that, especially peppermint, lemon, and lavender. Those three combinations for seasonal allergies, y'all, it is themom.com. And that's rolling on. I'll put it on my tip of my nose, temples, back of the neck, and also putting it in a diffuser and inhaling. So anyway, but but yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there and just to kind of give you hope. No, you don't have to live the rest of your life, struggling through the springtime, guys. You can excel and exceed whatever you've been going through in that. Also ginger. Ginger root is so good for the gut. Nausea, vomiting, indigestion, diarrhea, stomach cramps. Ginger is really supportive in that. Let's see what else. And of course peppermint. And here's a really quick hack with peppermint oil. If you are constipated, yes, you're drinking water like you're supposed to, but if you drop a drop of peppermint in the toilet and sit and just wait and let the fumes come up to your bottom, that will help you to poop. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, right. That's all I have. Like, y'all have questions or I hope that was helpful.
Very helpful. Thank you. That was a lot of information. Yes, we do have further questions, but I feel like you hit on pretty much everything. Marissa, you want to go first?
Yeah, gosh, this was so informative. I learned so much. And also just as you're talking, it helped me to like start putting some pieces together about my own gut health. So I appreciate you for sharing everything.
Oh, you're
And
welcome.
so um I'm super curious. I know like there's so much information out there on gut health. What would you say are some common myths? I know you actually mentioned the age thing. Are there
Yeah.
any other myths that you know of right off?
I would say one myth right off would be the amount, what is the correct amount of times that you need to poop? And a lot of people say one time per day. Is that what y'all hear?
Hmm.
And
That's
say,
what
well,
I
I'm
hear.
regular.
Hmm.
I'm regular. I go once a day. But
Right. Me
really, you're
too.
supposed to poop every time you eat. So every time you, so that's what, about three? A good
Hmm.
poop 3 times a day. And then looking at that Bristol stool chart is very, very helpful. And it's a chart that kind of rates how your poop looks. It goes like from 1 to 6, and you want to, or 1 to 5, 1 to 6, and you want to try to stay in that 3, 4 range. But it's good to track so you can kind of see what's been going on, to see if maybe you do need to add, if it's hard, to come out, you need to add more water to your regimen throughout the day. Or if it's always diarrhea, that means it's going through too quickly and you're not absorbing those nutrients. So you may need to add some minerals and vitamins into the mix. So yeah.
That's really helpful. Thank you. And one other question I have is how do those artificial sweeteners, I love a Dr. Pepper, but I've switched to a diet Dr. Pepper, but how is that affecting gut health?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're horrible. The artificial sweeteners, and here's the thing, it they're toxic to the body. And so anytime we introduce something foreign and toxic to the body is going to do what it's supposed to do and create an inflammatory response. So it's like invader, invader, get out. And so you're going to have all these red flags going off in your gut because it's trying to protect you, right? But in trying to protect you, it's causing more issues. Okay. And it's causing the leaky gut. And it's also giving those bad bacteria in your gut a chance to thrive because that's what they thrive on. They thrive on environments with a lot of sugar and a lot of toxins. So I say do your best to remove the NutraSweets, the diet sodas, even chewing gum, all those things that have the artificial sweeteners. They create these um, antibiotic resistant microbes that even antibiotics can't do anything with because they're like superpowers. So yeah.
Are there any drinks that you recommend other than water that people could have, with their meals?
Yeah, so water is my like drink of choice. Like when I'm drinking water probably 95%. Now I'm going to I also have drink this drink called Nixia Red, which is like a um it's a goji berry pureed. It helps with inflammation and things. Um if you I would rather you drink something with regular sugar than drink something with artificial. So if you're gonna have the Coke, just have the Coke. But try to get rid of the Coke if you can. If you want something to sweeten your sweet tea, go for a honey or maple syrup or a guave nectar. Something that is not going to be so toxic to the body.
Helpful. Thank you. And that's all I have, Ashley.
Okay.
Yes. I'm gonna actually circle back to what you mentioned earlier. I had a question already about mental health and mood,
Okay.
and then you mentioned the leaky gut syndrome and how that tied into. You want to expound on that or add anything that you didn't before?
Yeah, so our gut and all the things that it does, I mean, we could stay here a whole week and talk about what it does. One of the things that it does, it produces one of the hormones that make you feel good, and that is serotonin. 90% of our serotonin is produced in the gut. And so serotonin helps to regulate our mood. It helps our sleep. It also helps our appetite. So if our gut is off balanced and we don't have those good microbes and we have all these toxic things, our body's not going to make enough to stabilize our mood. And we're going to have these mood swings. We're going to have depression. We're going to have um, Alzheimer's. We're going to have different things that are affecting the brain because that communication is off. Um, Another thing, the bacteria in our gut also sends communication to our brain through, it's called the gut-brain axis. All right, using the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is this huge cranial nerve that goes from our brain to our stomach, to our gut, not just our stomach, but all of them, all the organs. And so through that nerve, if those chemical signals are off, there's anxiety, there's stress, there's mood swings, there's irritability, and depression. Um, so if you're struggling with any of those things, guys, address the root cause, address your gut, and see if that helps with some of the mood stuff that you're dealing with.
That's great. Great information.
Yeah.
Yes, that's definitely helpful. Um, Also, another question. We were talking about oils.
Okay.
We're going to talk about cooking oil. What
Okay.
cooking oil do you suggest? Because I know you mentioned, you know, what did you mention earlier?
Canola, all the
Canola
seed
and all of
oils.
these.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
which one do you?
The seed oils are very inflammatory because of the process that they take them through to extract the oils from the seed. They usually use some type of hexane, some type of alcohol to extract it from there. And then they remove the alcohol, but you cannot remove 100% of the alcohol. So when that happens, we ingest it, it creates more inflammatory processes in the body. So I recommend avocado oil. If you're frying something, switch to avocado oil. Yes, you're gonna pay more money. You are worth it. You are worth the extra dollars to feel good and to support your body with what it needs. Also, olive oil. Olive oil is great, a great oil just to take straight up in a tablespoon. But to cook with too and to use for salad dressings. Coconut oil is great to cook with. It's, it has so many great things about coconut oil, not just cooking, but it's good for oil pulling too, and get rid of bacteria in the mouth. But I'm trying to think of what's another good oil. Those are my main three. Those are the main three we cook with here.
Okay. And to ask more, because I use olive oil. So does it matter if it's like virgin olive oil? Because there's like different types that like, does it matter or does it just need to be olive oil?
Yeah, I try to get extra virgin olive oil. You want to look for raw and unrefined. You don't want, because some of them say refined, and that mean they're taking it through all these other processes. You want to try to get as least processed as possible, the straight up oil. And yeah, so just look at that.
Awesome. Thank you so very much.
Oh,
Because
you're
I
welcome.
was
Yeah,
like, is this
sure.
the right oil? We were talking about canola oil. What? Am I using the wrong one? That's awesome. Um, I also would like to piggyback on what you were saying about gut health too and what we put in our mouths. Also, I am encouraging everyone to go to the dentist because if you have poor dental hygiene, you're eating and swallowing all the germs, all the pathogens, and that can also play a a pivotal role in your gut health. So,
Yes,
yes.
absolutely. Yes, gum health is important.
Yeah. So regular dentist checkups, I think they routine is usually 6 months, every 6 months, but at least
Right.
once a year. And floss, Jesus, please floss. Floss and brush your tongue. Because not a lot of people know to brush their tongue as well. So that's very important. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes. Anything else for us today, Dr. Lee, as we close?
I don't think I mentioned, and I just thought about it when you were talking about glyphosate. And when you are eating those good, clean foods, try to get organic as best as much as you can. Um, and why? Because the pesticides and herbicides that they use, it's called glyphosate. It's also called Roundup. You may hear it called Roundup in the stores. And glyphosate is it's a known carcinogen, meaning it causes cancer. And it's like I said, it's sprayed on all of our stuff. So if you could try to get organic as much as you can, and it also just depletes the gut. Um, a lot of the scans that I do, mostly everybody that comes up glyphosate, because it's in all of our foods. It's in a lot of our bread. Our wheat supply in America is pretty much trash. So that's why we have a lot of these. It's not so much the gluten, it's the glyphosate that they put on our wheat. Okay. So if we can try to get organic, now there's some people who are straight celiac disease, meaning they cannot tolerate gluten at all. But there's a lot of us who just can't tolerate that glyphosate in the wheat. And so we need to switch to a sourdough bread or and using organic flour. So I just want to throw that in there.
Organic flour. Okay. All right. I've
Yeah.
never used it, so I guess I gotta.
I just learned how to like make sourdough because and
Wow.
it's not that hard. I'm gonna send you some a starter.
Okay. Yes, please. Yes.
It's not that hard.
Well, all right. That pretty much wraps up our first episode. Does Marissa, do you have anything else to add? Any questions? Any thoughts, comments, concerns?
Yeah, no questions. Dr. Lee, I just really want to thank you for taking time out to be here today and giving us all this great information. Now, me and Ashley are going to have to go work on ourselves, but we really learned a lot. So, thank you.
Yes, for sure. Yes. I want to thank all our viewers for tuning in. We hope that you took a lot of information and you can apply it to your everyday life. Our goal in our community is to promote health. That's our whole goal. So we can start with the gut. That's something. As always, of course, we encourage everyone to send in any questions, comments that you want us to go over in our podcast at the her5ive at gmail.com. Of course, this podcast is going to be available on YouTube. I will send a link through our Facebook. Both YouTube and Facebook is the Her Five, the Her Five. And I just want to thank everybody for watching and for tuning in and listening. We want to thank Dr. Lee for your time, your expertise. And I hope you can come back on our show or our podcast in the future for sure. We're going to be reaching out to you for other information as well.
You are welcome. It's my pleasure, guys. Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. All righty, guys. Well, thank you for watching the Her Five and peace, love, and harmony.